Hi everyone, this is StichRulez, and I wanted to talk about today's card called Curse of the Rising Light from Yu-Gi-Oh! Links in rushduel format in the Rush Selection Box Volume 3 set. The effect of this card goes as the requirement: your opponent has one card or less in their hand, and the effect is change one monster on your opponent's field to face-up attack position or face-down defense position. Then, if your opponent activated a trap card this turn, or this turn is the first turn of the player going second, each player draws two cards. There's a lot of great deck themes and meta decks that can capitalize on utilizing Curse of the Rising Light, especially for Light Galaxy and Spellcasters. Those two decks really can take advantage of this card because it's a card that basically offers draw power and a Book of Moon type effect, with the plus of being able to let your opponent kind of have to calculate their moves based on you utilizing this type of card. Because if you think about it, the top decks, also heroes can take advantage of utilizing this card too. So the top decks can utilize this, and this actually creates a very powerful type of strategy, being able to have to think about this card because, as you know, Shiny Shady is being utilized, and that card can easily play into Curse of the Rising Light because, as you know, Shiny Shady, you need to have one card in your hand. So it plays into this type of card very, very well because a lot of times Shiny Shady is going to go off when you're going through your combo sequences with your deck theme. So this allows you to, once Shiny Shady goes off and flips your cards face down, it allows you to effectively use Curse of the Rising Light. And then that allows you to draw two cards, and you can tribute summon those two face down cards or face down card that you have on your field from Shiny Shady to be able to push further and try to capitalize on trying to break your opponent's board and establish your board. I really like the type of effect that allows you to gain because it offers you to flip down a powerful powerful monster face down, and allows you to draw two cards, and that gives you the ability to not be pretty much dismantled from Shiny Shady theoretically, depending on your deck theme. But the top three decks, like Galaxy, Heroes, and Spellcasters, they can kind of play through Shiny Shady to a certain degree because they don't necessarily need to rely on their fusion cards. It's just an added bonus to their already powerful abilities to mill cards into the graveyard and gain additional benefits from that. But this card is going to be, I believe, very, very powerful, and I think that this is a nice tech card to be utilized because all top three decks will be utilizing Shiny Shady, which means that if you utilize Curse of the Rising Light, you're going to benefit it even further with being able to take advantage of opponents utilizing Shiny Shady, and then that allows you, as the player, to go through and still continuously push. Now, I like this also the nuances of the Curse of the Rising Light because when you're playing against at the top tier level, you're going to feel toggle situations with pauses, so you can detect which types of cards that are face down and calculate, okay, is this going to be an Executee Riding? Is this going to be a Trap Hole? Is this going to be a Shiny Shady? Because all three types of those cards will have different pauses. And depending on the board state and what cards they have in their hand, if they have any cards in their hand, this allows you to kind of feel what you can endure if those are specific types of trap cards. And you can calculate those types of cards on the field by either seeing if they have utilized any legend spells or trap cards into their graveyard, and you can kind of get a feel to what they have based on their board, based on their cards in their hand, and then this allows you to utilize Curse of the Rising Light even more effectively by understanding what cards you can go through if you were to get hit by a trap card. So I like the way that this card can allow you to push through games even if you get hit with specific trap cards, and allows your deck to survive through Shiny Shady and being able to establish your board. Now for deck card ratios, as much as Curse of the Rising Light is extremely powerful, I don't think 3 is necessary for this type of deck, for any deck as of right now, because if you're going to have to go first during the coin flip, and as you know, coin flips are random, and you can't control whether you go first or not based on the coin flip, you're better off with having 2 copies of this or less. And because of that, you want to have trap cards in the event you're going first, to defend you from any sort of types of board presence and situations, and also give you the chance to disrupt your opponent before they get to their most powerful combos. So Curse of the Rising Light offers a nice extension, but it is somewhat of a dead card if you're forced to go first and you have 3 copies, so you don't want to clog your board, so to speak, and then it allows your opponent to know, okay, they either have like dead cards on the field, and you don't want to kind of give your opponent that type of advantage, especially if you have to go first. So 2 or less, I think, are the most ideal card ratios for this type of card, even though it is very, very strong. And you also have to consider, if you're using, for instance, 3 Curse of the Rising Light, decking out is a kind of like a reality for certain decks. Like if you look at spellcasters, they can draw through their whole entire deck if they use Pot of Greed, Curse of the Rising Light, Shiny Shady theoretically in ways. They're constantly, and then also their spellcaster effects where they mill cards into the graveyard. So they're constantly milling and milling and milling, and they're drawing and drawing too through also Ghost Cyclone. So they can deck out easily if the player is not paying attention how many cards they have in their graveyard and also their deck size. So I think to avoid that and to kind of have a better balance to the actual deck and your strategy, Curse of the Rising Light, utilizing it at 2 or less will be perfect ratios. Now, and then depending on how you want to, your style of play, maybe 2 would be better, but you are going to have to look at your type of deck theme and think about, okay, my deck theme can take advantage of 2, or could my deck utilize a better type of card that's more suitable because of the types of cards it needs to get to their most powerful cards. So that depends on the evaluation of your deck and your strategy and whether or not you can take advantage of that. So this card should be utilized at the highest level, I believe. The fact that you can change one monster on your opponent's field to face up attack or defense position, that can allow you to bypass a lot of powerful cards that can be established on the board, and namely, like especially like Light Galaxy, if they have their most powerful fusion Galaxy monster on the field, you're going to have to really work to get that card off the field. And a simple Curse of the Rising Light can flip down that card down face down and lowers basically the wall of that monster, and you're allowed to push through, and you don't need to necessarily utilize so much resources to take that one card out. So this card is very powerful. It's from the Rush Selection Box Volume 3, but although it is kind of expensive, so to speak, if you don't get the types of rewards from utilizing your gems through the box, I think that Curse of the Rising Light is a type of card that's going to age well, regardless. So even though that you may not get the right cards from the box set, if it takes a little bit of investing to get to this card, I think it's worth it because it's going to be a good card long term, and it's going to offer a lot of value for a variety of different decks that you try to utilize for your deck theme. So I would definitely consider trying to utilize this card in your deck theme, especially if you're going against the top meta decks and you want to compete at like a very high level and want to have greater success. And yeah, so consider utilizing this card. Consider the deck ratios more importantly, because remember, you can't control whether or not you go first or second. So deck type, the number of cards you have of this card in your deck will be very, very important. And I do believe that 3 will be too excessive for most cases. So keep that in mind. But regardless of that, it's a very powerful card, especially after turn 1. It's usually a very active card, and it can allow you to also unbrick your hand. So keep in mind that the draw power shouldn't be underestimated, and on an additional effect, the fact that you can flip face down to face up or face up to face down, it's a very, very, very good effect that you can take advantage of in a lot of nuances. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Consider utilizing Curse of the Rising Light in your deck and your strategies. And thanks for watching again. And take care. Bye-bye.